Hi, kids. Papa Dan here with another Papa Dan's Bedtime Bible Stories. We started off just a few days ago in the book of Genesis, right at the very beginning, which is Genesis means the beginning. And we talked about Adam and Eve. Then we had the story of Noah's Ark. And then we got into where God spoke to a man named Abraham and told him to take his family and move to this land that God had promised to him. And so Abraham and his nephew Lot and Abraham's wife Sarah all moved to the land of Canaan, the promised land that they were going to. And we take these stories from the Tyndale Kids publication called the Children's Everyday Bible. Some really neat stories, some great illustrations by a lady named Anna C. Lepler. And I really highly recommend this one. If you're looking for a good children's Bible, a good beginner's Bible, I guess, in a way, probably kids in the first grade might be able to read most of these. Beginning readers, there'd be some tough words in there, but for the most part, it's pretty good. We're picking up basically after Abraham and Lot had split and gone their separate ways, and now it's Abraham and Sarah. And they're contemplating a promise that God had told Abraham some time ago that he was going to be the father of a little boy with Sarah, and they were to name him Isaac. But it just didn't seem like that was ever going to happen because they were both really up there in years. Sarah was 90 years old and Abraham was 100 years old. Now, I know those are big numbers, aren't they? But you see, back there in those early days of Bible times, people did frequently live to be more than 100 years old. In fact, there was a guy named Methuselah who lived, I think he was somewhere in the range of 900 years old. That's a long time, isn't it, kids? Yes, that's even older than Papa Dan. Anyway, Abraham and Sarah lived in a very nice house, and it didn't seem to them like they were ever going to have children, even though God had promised that. And Sarah was 90, as I said, and Abraham at 100 years old. And they were supposed to have a son named Isaac. And that son was going to be the father of a very big family. So that Abraham was then going to have lots of grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. In fact, there was at one point where God pointed out to Abraham, you see all the stars? Your descendants will number more than all those stars. Have you ever gone outside at night on a really clear night and looked up at the stars, kids? Especially if you live out in the country, you can really see the stars. And did you try to count them? Can't do it, can you? There's that many of them. Well, God said that Abraham would live in a land that he promised, and that he would live there, and his family would, all his descendants would live there as well. He only had to make this one promise to God, that he would obey God, whatever God said that he should do. And then sometime later, Abraham was sitting by his tent when he saw three men walking toward him, and he invited them inside because it was really hot. We've already established the fact that Abraham was really a nice guy. And he offered them some water, get in out of the sunshine, some cool water, even invited them to stay for dinner. And so they did. What Abraham didn't know was that one of these three guys was God. And God told him then that you and Sarah are going to have a son, and I want you to name him Isaac. Now, Sarah heard God say this, and again, as I said, they didn't know that was God. He said that you're going to have a son, and Sarah laughed, because she's thinking, I'm way too old to have a child right now. However, God knew what she was thinking, so he's going to get the last laugh, isn't he? God kept that promise, and within the next year or so, she had a little boy, and they named him Isaac. And God remembered that promise, that he would name the boy Isaac. And by the way, that name Isaac is a great name because it means he laughs. And so there you go. The boy made them happy. They laughed. The boy was a happy boy. He laughed. And Sarah kind of thought about that, and she realized that what God had said about the boy's name meaning he laughs, she remembered laughing at the fact that she was supposed to be the mother of this boy. And she knew that wasn't a possible thing to do. But for God, all things are possible. Always remember that. Anyway, she thanked God daily for giving her Isaac. Now, the next time we get together in our Bible stories, we're going to find out what happened to Isaac and what happened when God told Abraham that he wanted to give Isaac back to God. We'll see what that's all about the next time we get together on Papa Dan's Bedtime Bible Stories. All right, time to snuggle into the covers. God bless. Remember, God loves you, and so does Papa Dan. Good night.